in one complete swoop. This is the same machine as it was yesterday, the A1398 EMC 2909. It's the same machine. I'm going to try and do this all in one go. The angle of the camera is looking down onto it here, so you're to my right. I haven't quite worked out how to get this to work over my shoulder and directly down yet. I suppose in time, as I do more videos, I'll get better at that. So you'd have to please forgive my amateur videoing skills, which are fucking none, to be honest. Right, okay, so first thing to do obviously is to get the back off. So I use this on my desk. I've got an anti-static pad. You don't really have to have an anti-static pad, but don't do it on a metal desk either. So the first thing I want to do is to open the lid, and I like to do it a certain way. Let's get rid of that because that was in there like yesterday. I have to do it a certain way. I like to have them face down like this, and I like to have it on my bench like that. And I like to open the screen ever so slightly like that. There's a reason for that, and I'll tell you that in a minute when we get to it. So first job is to remove all of the Pentalope 5 screws out of the back. I'm going to try and do this in real time, and I'm going to try and post this on YouTube in real time, because it will give you a chance to go along with me if you're doing one, rather than having to stop and start a video should you be doing one if I'm fast forwarding it. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to try and do it in real time. That is, of course, if YouTube will let me. Sometimes they don't let you do stuff like that, but hey, so be it. So let's see what happens as we go along, and like I said, as I get to do more videos, which I'm planning on doing, I'm sure my rudimental equipment will become better, and I'll find some way to have some sort of a tripod stand over my desk, which is not a bad idea. Anyway, for now, I've got to get this job done, so we get it done. So all those Pentalope 5 screws are out. First thing to do is to remove the back off the computer, which you just do like that. So it's the back of the computer. As always, dust inside, that's quite normal. Don't worry about that. Now, remember I told you about the MacBook Air speaker. The reason why I want this is to lift off the battery. So the moment you've removed the back plate, before you do anything else, disconnect the battery. Don't disconnect anything else while the battery is in, because you run the risk of blowing the backlight circuit, and then you've got, even if you put a new screen on, it won't work. Well, it will work, but there'll be no light to it. You won't see anything. So just peel this bit off here, and in a minute we're going to gently lever off. Remember, no big pressure, any of this. Gently start to lever off this. Don't do it too much, otherwise these are made of Bakelite and they can break. So there you go, that just comes off, and that now is clear and away. So first thing to come out, next thing, so we're clear, we've got no power to the board anymore. Next thing to come out is, I had my spudger here yesterday, where's it gone? Oh, here it is. First thing to come out is we're going to remove these. These are just nothing. You just put your fingers underneath these and pull them off. It's little insulation tabs. It doesn't really matter which way around they go, but I lay mine out in the order in which I've taken them off, which is like this. Next thing to come out is we need the T5 screwdriver, and next thing to come out is this little thing. This is this piece of crap I was telling you about. There's a little bracket here which has been engineered to fit inside the machine and hold the screen on. Now that is a load of crap, because there are 6 T8 screws tightly holding the screen lid in place. So what these are for is, to be honest, and I've changed hundreds of these screens, and I've got absolutely no idea why you would need them, but it's there and the screen won't come out without it. I'm going to bend it back a little bit more so that the hinges are in the right position for lifting the screen out later, and I haven't got to faff around with it. So this is dead easy. This is just one T5 screw, And if you want to, you can grab yourself a pair of tweezers, which I forgot to tell you about yesterday, because you will actually need tweezers, of which I've got to get a pair, so just bear with me a minute. Here we are, here's my tweezers. So all you do is you can take the whole thing, and you can just, maybe I need it, it's not quite out yet. It's because I'm trying to do it with both hands, that's why. So let's take the screw out. There's the screw, and here is the part. So this is this little part I was telling you about. It clips in, and it's supposed to hold the hinge shaft in place. But again, useless, absolutely useless. No need for that to be there at all. Let me take out the other one. This is where I get to be a complete plonker, because I have stuff and I put stuff down and I don't know where I've put it. Here it is, right in front of me, T5. It's called getting older. As you get older, or as I get older, I forget stuff. But what I don't forget, of course, is to drink my coffee, and not spilling it on the laptop, but I have a very special mug which I like to drink out of when I'm with customers I don't like. So you get the idea. So hold on. Otherwise we're going nowhere. Right, so that's that bit. Next thing is we're going to remove this. This is the LDVS connector. So I'm going to actually close the lid again and try and show you this at a better angle. This is the LDVS cable. The LDVS cable is the cable that connects the screen to the logic board. Now, be careful here. I've had loads of people come to me and say they ripped the connector off the logic board because they couldn't get it out. But it's held in. It's incredibly simple. It's held in by a little clip. And this little clip, you just got to get something like your nice pointy spudger or something sharp under the clip, and the clip just pops up. See this clip here? This just holds it into place. And then to get it out, all you do is pop it over a little bit on each side, a little bit there, a little bit there, and that LDVS connector comes out really, really easy. Point of note, underneath the LDVS connector, Apple put a moisture tab. These moisture stickers, when they get wet or moist, they turn either pink or red, and that's Apple's way of getting out of giving you any warranty on your machine. The moment they start something and they see one of those that have gone pink or red, that's it, you pay. Alright, so that's off now. I need to turn the machine back around again. I'm going to reopen it at an angle, like so I can get the rest of the stuff off. The rest of the stuff is quite easy. There's a little rubber plate here for the fan. Lift that back, that's nothing. Get your tweezers again. This part, this little component here, this is the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi card which attaches to the main logic board, and these three wires are the antennas that attach to it, and these three antenna wires run around the inside of the lid. We need to remove them, so gently with your pair of tweezers. I've got pointy tweezers for soldering, but you could use a pair of my girlfriend's got some eyebrow tweezers, they're also fine. Anything just so you can gently lift them off, very gently. There's nothing forcing here. If you have to force something, then you're doing it wrong. You do not want to force anything on this job, or any job for that matter. Next thing we're going to remove is this cable, which is underneath it, this connector. It's all part of the same wiring loom. This connector is the connector for the camera inside the lid. Again, we're going to be gentle. I've had people pull these connectors off. You just take your spudger with your pointy bit and you gently pull a little bit off each side. Little bit, little bit. I need both hands probably. I'll try and do this one-handed. I can't. I need both hands to get this off. You do a little bit this side, a little bit this side. You keep going gently, little bit, and gently it'll come off the connector. You just lift it up here a little bit. So here we go. Just get this underneath here, get the glue off. Like so. A little bit of tension on it, a little bit, and there we go. And I've now got that off. We don't want to rip that connector off the board, because then the board's going to come out then we've got to heat the board from the other side to get it in. It's a royal pain in the arse, so we don't want to be doing that. So fine. So now, cable wise, the screen is completely disconnected. You've got one loom this side, the LDVS connected to this side, and we're away. So now we go to the T8. Excuse me. The T8 undoes the hinge pin, the hinges. That's the wrong one. What do I do with my T8? It's over here somewhere. Where's my T8 screwdriver? I'm going to have to probably cut a bit out the video because I can't find my T8 screwdriver. Okay, so I'm back with it then. I lost the T8 screwdriver, I've now got it. So we just undo these 6 T8 screws, pull these out. They haven't got to go particularly in any order, it doesn't really matter. Just pull these screws out. I actually find it really, really easy or useful to get a magnet when I'm doing this job, or any job for that matter, is to get a little magnet. There's a magnet, a broken magnet. Put the magnet on your screwdriver. Best magnets to buy on eBay, you can buy them in a tube, little tiny ones. The best ones to get are N50, N for November, 50 magnets. They're the ones that are really strong. These are the ones that hold your lids in place. But it's dead handy because it means that when you unscrew it, you can just, because the magnet's there, you can just lift it out like so and it doesn't go everywhere. But you haven't got to listen to me on that one, do what the hell you like. So let's take these out and take this out, and apart from that little few seconds, 15 seconds where I had to stop the video because I lost my T8 screwdriver, we've pretty much got the screen out. Now as I release this side now, the screen wants to flop back down to here. Well, that's because I moved the hinges over. Well, there's a reason for that, and that is, I'll show you now. As I lift the screen out, I'll need that again later. As I lift the screen out, I want to be able to lift it out like so. So now, so if you look at these hinges, if they were straight like that, it wouldn't lift out so easy. So I lined it up for the lifting out before I even started the job. So that's the old screen out, and that has absolutely no use to man nor beast. This was dropped on the corner, and basically a piece of shit, and you could either put it in the bin. Some guys keep them for parts, but I can't be arsed because I don't really strip them ever. I used to take the LCDs out, but it takes hours to get the LCDs out of these. They're glued in behind this rubber gasket and they're a royal pain in the fucking arse. So that, bin. Now, next thing is to get the other screen, which is just behind the camera. Excuse me a minute. This is the one that came yesterday via UPS. Not that I'm advertising UPS, because I'm not, because they don't give me any money, and for the most part UPS promise they'll deliver you something, and whenever I want something urgently from UPS and I pay the extra money to have it delivered, you can bet your bottom dollar it doesn't come till the next day. And you ask the driver about it and they don't know what's going on. They just go, oh, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Gripe about UPS. Let's get rid of that box. So here we are with the new screen. I need to get a pair of pointy nose pliers, and I'll show you why. These hinges, you don't grip the hinges, you just use this as a leverage. So I'm going to lever this slightly forward like that. Again, so I've lined up my screen before I put it in. Excuse me, it's time for some more fuck off coffee. Ah, brilliant. Now, please don't put any comments about me drinking the coffee or my cup, because if you do, I'm going to delete them. Right, so take this off here. That's our LDVS connector. We'll leave that where it is for now. This is all nice and loose already, so dead easy. Obviously it's not going to go on that way, it won't fit. So we're just going to to start off, keeping the cables out of the way, we're just going to plonk the screen in like so. Now, first thing to do is to put one screw for the screen lid in, slide it in, but don't tighten it, because you need to line the screen lid up, otherwise you've got a crooked lid sitting on top of a base. So all you do is take a T8 for each side, put a T8 each side in. The left side doesn't matter, or the right side, to loosen it off so it's loose. Now, in a minute we have to put this in, and that goes over these two screws. We're not going to bother with that one for now. We're going to put the loose screw into this hole first. This is like screen changing by numbers, like painting by numbers, but for changing a MacBook screen. This is unbelievably easy. It's like a big Meccano kit. You can't put the wrong screw in the wrong hole, it won't fit. So if you end up knocking your screws and they all end up in one pile, it doesn't matter, they can only go in one place. You can't get them in the wrong place, apart from a couple of screws on the back, when you put those back in, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So that is kind of in there but loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually now going to close this lid. I'm going to close this lid loose like so, and then with my fingers I'm going to line the lid up with the rest of the machine. That's a bit difficult because it's got this piece of plastic in here, so I'm going to have to take this off first. Let's just take this piece of plastic off, make my life a bit easier. Put that down there. Now I'm going to close the lid, and what I'm going to do is, just with the feel of your fingers, you can move it around. Just feel till it's level. Feels level, perfect, it closes. Now, pop the machine flat, get back to your T8, and those two screws, we're going to tighten them up to lock the hinges in place. So now, if you're a bit heavy-handed, don't go and whack them up really tight, but watch. I'm going to make a fist and give it a little nick. Okay? I'm going to make a fist and I'm going to give it a little nick. Now, next thing, I must stop saying the word now all the time. Bad habit. Bad habit and an old fart. So now we got, there you go, I just said now again. What's wrong with me? We're going to take this little bit of metal, this is just to hold this cable in place. We're going to take this, it's also there to earth it. We're going to pop that in like so. I'm going to take this and we're going to put this in like so. And we just tighten those up, so we've got this hinge then done. So we give that a little bit of a nick, one at a time. Give this a little bit of a nick, and then we're going to give it a bit of a tighten like that, and give that a little bit of a tighten like that. Take two more. Here's the screws here. They might be out of your view, but they're on my desk over there. Put these two in. Oops, like so. Give that a tighten, and give this a tighten. Like this. Okay. So now we've kind of got the machine all fixed, but remember those two useless clips I told you about? I'm going to put them back in because it's a customer's machine and not mine, but again, useless. This hinge is now held in place by 6 really tight T8 screws. It's not going anywhere. So why this exists in the universe, I really do not know. But it fits in like so. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's in case those screws come loose, it's something else to hold it in place. But if the screws came loose, you'd really know, because the screen would be wobbling around all over the place. But I'm going to put it back in, and they're held in with the T5. Just nick that magnet, put it on the shaft of this, otherwise I can't hold the T5 screw. I'm just going to gently pop those in like that. Same for the other side. I might be out of screen for a second, bear with me. I know you can probably see what's happening, what I'm doing, but you can't see where it's happening, so in a second I'll try and lift this up and show you, just to prove I am putting it in. So what's called talking too much while you're doing a job, which is what I tell everybody not to do. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit, so there's the screw, and I'm going to just fasten that in like so. So those two little brackets are in place. Complete waste of time, but they're in place. Now I'm going to turn the machine around, because now I'm going to reconnect the new LDVS cable. Sometimes these LDVS cables, through transport and packaging, this little clip ends up being underneath, and people don't notice, and the cable won't go in properly. Make sure that this clip is actually on the top, not on the bottom. I have to put it down to do this, so I take my spudger, I line it up just gently, and we're going to go in the same way it came out. It goes back in again, one corner and one little bit at a time. So I've lined it up there. I'll try and lift it so you can see it. It's not in yet, so I can put that corner in and then that corner in like so. So that's in. So it's nice tight. So there's a nice tight seal there. Take the clip, and then with your finger you'll feel it click into place. Maybe you heard that, I don't know. I've got two mics set up, I don't know if you heard it or not, but there you go. So that is the LDVS connector now reconnected. Make sure that it doesn't lodge like this has there. This is designed to go underneath, because there's a hinge pin that goes here for the back plate. Make sure that cable is flush or underneath this oval bit, metal bit here. Otherwise the back plate won't go on, and people spend ages trying to force it on and can't work out why, and it's just because they haven't tucked that cable in nice and neat, just like so. Alright, now coming back round to the other side again. Now we're going to rewire the cable for the camera and the antenna cables. Let's do the easy one first, the cable for the camera. Cable for the camera, line it up, and in the same way when you pulled it out, you wanted to do it gently. You're also going to do it gently on the way back in. I'm going to just wedge something under the back of this machine, like my Leatherman or something, so it raises it slightly, so maybe you get a better view. I don't know whether that helps or not. Anyway, so now what I like to do is just, I've actually got several of these, I'll take two of them, just to make sure I'm pushing equal pressure against pressure. So I'll just put a little bit of, hold that there, and I'll just push this gently. Record again. Sorry about that, for some reason my camera just turned itself off. Anyway, so you just, like so. So the next shortest one goes on the next plug, which goes on to here, like so. You can feel it locate itself, and then you just, maybe you heard that, and then the last one onto there like that, and then you feel it do that. First time you do this, you might find that you don't get them on right. Remember, the key here is don't force anything. There's a force gale wind blowing outside in London today, but don't force anything. You don't need to. Just line up your cables, line it up nice and neatly, make sure everything, again, here's another oval thing, look, we want to make sure that is tucked down, and in fact we can tuck it underneath there. Make sure this, doesn't matter whether it comes round or over, but this is just to get your cables in place so they sit nice and flush. So you've got to, you know, have pride in your work, make it neat. This is self-adhesive, that just sticks and that just pops over. I used to go to the trouble of actually re-gluing these, but once the back's on it isn't going to go anywhere, so now I just don't bother. Alright, next thing, there's a bit of fluff there which has been bugging me through the whole thing, so that is going to come out. I don't like bits of fluff. Right, let's move this Leatherman out of the way. Now we've got these things, they've got a little bit of self-adhesive stuff in them. They just literally fit like so, and this other one comes on like so. So now we have the screen attached. As my dad used to say, proof of the pudding is in the eating. So I'm going to take the power supply and I'm going to reattach it gently, push it down, put that into place like that. So let's start the machine up and see what happens. Every time you start up a machine, a MacBook that you've disconnected the power supply from, you will notice that that it takes a few seconds longer for the Apple logo to pop up. That's quite normal. In time that will change itself. There's a whole reason why that happens, and I'm not going to go into it now. I may do another video on it, but don't worry. So when you press the on button, if it might not have any power, let's press the on button. It actually, it does have power. I know it's got power because the fans are running at the back. Here we go. So we'll give it a few secs. I'm going to hold it like that. But as you can see, it doesn't have much power. So I'm just going to grab a power lead, which I've got down here somewhere. Let's grab some juice. Give the machine some juice. There we go. Now I'll try and start it again. Here we go. And then you should see nice chime, which is good. It means I haven't fucked up the logic board. And hopefully in a few seconds you will see a Apple logo popping up in the middle of the screen. So don't think at this point, oh crap, it's not coming on. Just wait, be patient. You will see it in a minute. The battery's been disconnected.